Women wanted freedom. They fought for it, marched for it, redefined society to claim it. And they got it: freedom of choice, freedom of ambition, freedom of expression, freedom from dependence, from tradition, from expectations. But no one warned them that freedom has a shadow. No one warned them that freedom changes the psychology of men just as deeply as it changes the psychology of women. No one warned them that the more freedom women gained, the more distance men would take. Not because men fear strong women. Not because men hate equality. Not because men feel threatened. But because the world women created for themselves no longer requires men, and anything that isn't required becomes optional. Anything optional becomes undervalued. And anything undervalued eventually walks away. Before we go deeper, hit subscribe and like the video. At the start, freedom felt like liberation. Women could choose who they wanted, work where they wanted, love how they wanted, leave whenever they wanted. No dependence. No limitation. No compromise. The shackles were gone. But the structure was gone too. And without structure, desire mutates. Without polarity, connection dies. Without dependence, intimacy becomes fragile. And slowly, silently, without anyone noticing, men adapted. Men watched as women embraced independence. Men watched as women rejected traditional roles, rejected vulnerability, rejected support, rejected softness. Men watched as women celebrated not needing anyone. And men listened carefully. Because a man's deepest instinct is simple. Go where you're needed. Serve where you're valued. Protect where you're welcomed. Offer your heart where it's appreciated. But modern women said, "We don't need you." So men responded with the only logical psychological reaction. Distance. Not anger. Not resentment. Not hostility. Distance. Because men never fight to be wanted. They simply go where they are. Women thought freedom meant they could choose men without consequences. They never realized freedom also gave men permission to stop chasing, stop proving, stop sacrificing, stop enduring. Women gained freedom from men. Men gained freedom from obligation. And it created a psychological fallout that no one was prepared for. Modern women want emotional intimacy, but they don't want emotional vulnerability. They want romantic connection, but they don't want dependence. They want masculine leadership, but they don't want to follow. They want admiration without accountability, affection without effort, commitment without compromise. They want the benefits of partnership with the autonomy of singlehood. And men see it. Men see the contradiction. Men feel the imbalance. Men sense the entitlement. And instead of fighting it, they simply pull back, because distance is safer than disappointment. A man doesn't become distant because he hates women. He becomes distant because the emotional cost of loving a modern woman has become too high. He's tired of being told he's not enough. Tired of being told to try harder while receiving nothing in return. Tired of competing with her career, her phone, her followers, her trauma, her ego. Tired of being an accessory to her independence rather than a partner in her life. Tired of being needed only when it's convenient. Tired of being blamed for wounds he didn't cause. Tired of being punished for the sins of past men. Tired of playing a game where the rules change whenever she feels insecure. He steps back because stepping closer always costs him something precious. Peace, identity, masculinity, purpose. A woman's freedom came with a hidden emotional tax. The more self-sufficient she became, the more emotionally exhausted men became. Men started to ask themselves questions they never asked before. Why pursue someone who doesn't need what I offer? Why fight for someone who treats my effort like a bare minimum? Why commit to someone who sees partnership as a burden? Why invest in someone who interprets masculinity as control? Why give my heart to someone who calls dependence weakness? Men realized something women never anticipated. Emotional distance is not rejection. It's self-preservation. Women wanted freedom from dependence. Men wanted freedom from obligation. The two freedoms don't harmonize, they collide. And as women stepped into power, they unknowingly stepped out of polarity. They became self-led, self-soothing, self-protecting, self-sufficient. All admirable qualities, but qualities that eliminate the space where masculine energy thrives. Men don't bond through competition. They bond through contribution. They don't fall in love through independence. They fall in love through feminine openness. They don't connect with guarded strength. They connect with emotional vulnerability. But modern women built walls so high that no man, not even the best man, can get through. Their freedom turned into armor. Their independence turned into emotional isolation. Their strength turned into resistance against intimacy. And now they ask why men seem cold. It isn't coldness. It's adaptation. Men learned that giving too much in modern relationships leads to being drained, used, unappreciated, or blamed. So they give less, feel less, offer less, attach less, expect less, distance more. Men didn't withdraw from women. They withdrew from losing themselves. Meanwhile, women are feeling the fallout of their freedom in ways they never expected. Loneliness rises. Anxiety rises. Bitterness rises. Resentment rises. Confusion rises. Because freedom feels empowering in your 20s, but terrifying in your 30s when you realize independence doesn't replace intimacy. Women wanted freedom, but freedom doesn't hold you at night. Freedom doesn't provide emotional security. Freedom doesn't create polarity. Freedom doesn't soothe the nervous system. Freedom doesn't build partnership. And modern women are discovering a truth older than civilization. You can be free, but connection requires surrender, and surrender requires trust. But modern women don't trust. Not men. Not relationships. Not vulnerability. Not themselves. So they use freedom as a shield. And men see the shield, so they keep their distance. As men distance, women feel more insecure. As women feel insecure, they defend their freedom harder. As women defend their freedom, men detach even further. A cycle that feeds itself. A cycle with no villains. A cycle created by a culture that told women to be everything except emotionally available. But the psychological fallout goes deeper. Men are not withdrawing from love. They are withdrawing from effort without reward. From responsibility without appreciation. From emotional labor without reciprocity. From relationships where they must give endlessly while receiving conditionally. Men want connection, but not at the cost of their masculinity. Women want intimacy, but not at the cost of their autonomy. So they end up in emotional opposition. He wants peace. She wants reassurance. He wants space. She wants closeness. He wants a partner. She wants proof. He wants respect. She wants attention. Both want love, but neither wants to give up the psychological safety their new freedoms created. Women wanted freedom from dependence. Men wanted freedom from emotional burden. Women thought freedom would make relationships easier. Instead, it made them optional. Men thought distance would protect them from pain. Instead, it made them numb. Now both genders stand on opposite sides of a chasm, one created by social evolution, expanded by individual trauma, and solidified by cultural conditioning. But here's the brutal truth. Women didn't cause the collapse alone. Men didn't react to it alone. But modern freedom destabilized modern polarity. And polarity is the oxygen of desire. When polarity dies, connection suffocates. When connection suffocates, distance becomes oxygen. When distance becomes oxygen, intimacy becomes impossible. Women wanted freedom. They deserved it. They earned it. They fought for it. But no one taught them how to carry it without losing connection. No one taught them that independence requires emotional skill, not emotional armor. No one taught them that masculine achievement doesn't replace feminine softness. No one taught them that freedom must be balanced with vulnerability. No one taught them that independence without intimacy becomes loneliness. And men adapted to survive. Men detached to protect themselves. Men built emotional walls the same way women built financial safety nets. Men sought distance because closeness felt like exposure to unpredictable emotional storms. And now, the world is full of free women and distant men. Women who don't know how to receive love. Men who no longer want to give it. Women who crave emotional closeness. Men who crave psychological safety. Women waiting for men to step forward. Men waiting for women to soften. Both are waiting. No one is moving. Because the cost of moving feels too high. But there is one final truth, the one no one wants to admit. Women wanted freedom. Men wanted distance. But both wanted love, and neither learned how to hold it in the world they created. See the pattern. Protect your energy. This is Depth Realm.